Hi. Before this video starts, I just want to ask you guys if you guys are enjoying this video and the content, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel. It is free. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers before May. 5K before May, 5K before May. Drill it into your brain. Okay, here we go. I have staked my whole reputation on the shoulders of this man right here, DC4. Okay, listen. You may be asking, it's just a game, it's just a quarterback. We could just move on, you know? But when you stake your reputation on something and you plant your flag in the sand of this quarterback, and this is the result we get.
What does it matter to you anyway? Everything!
I'm not going to sit here and wallow in suffering the whole time. I've already done that for about a month and a half. Derek Carr's last pass attempt as a member of the Las Vegas Raiders was an interception. He hasn't been seen since. Person number one to blame. And if you saw my short, I just want to reiterate this. We're going to list right now everyone to blame for the Derek Carr failure. And nobody's off limits. So I'm going to start out hot tamale. Rodger Goodell, culprit number one. Because that whole email thing was an absolute hit job by John Gruden. Are you kidding me? Dan Snyder, still the owner of the Washington football team. I'm not calling them the Commanders. After all those emails were found, they fired John Gruden, the guy who seemingly was resurrecting Derek Carr's career. Because whether or not you want to give him credit, John Gruden that is, for building the team that made it to the playoffs, you'd be wrong not to do so because he is the constructor, the orchestrator of that team. They were still calling his plays, okay? They were still using his philosophies that season. We went from 4-12 to 7-9 to 10-7 under the construction of John Gruden. Whether you like it or not, it's a fact, Jack. Culprit number two, Reggie McKenzie. You should have stuck your foot in the ground and said, I'm not firing Bill Musgrave. I'm not doing it. Because he was the best thing to happen to Derek Carr. Not getting emotional. Frog in my throat. Horned Frogs, TCU, they're getting blown out. Doesn't matter if John Gruden's coming. You should have said we have to keep this guy on in some capacity. And I understand, Reggie, it was hard for you to say no to Mark Davis. It's hard for a lot of people too. But that was the turning point in all of this. The second Jack Del Rio got fired, we had to start over again. And we should have kept on Bill Musgrave. Person number three, Mark Davis, for continuing to restart. And listen, the John Gruden thing wasn't his fault, but we did not have to get rid of Bill Musgrave for Todd Downing, who just got fired again today because he sucks at being an offensive coordinator. He is terrible. And that was the beginning of the end, the true beginning of the end for Derek Carr. And it was Mark Davis trying to be his father and going out and hire John Gruden. Now, was it ultimately going to work? We will never know. But that was the first reactionary move in a series of reactionary moves by Mark Davis, a guy who's never fully bought in to Derek Carr. And now we're kicking fans out of the stadium for having a bench McDaniels, not even fire McDaniels, just bench McDaniels sign. If you don't know the video, look it up. I mean, what are we doing? Number four, Josh McDaniels. Now, I just want to say this. I don't think Josh McDaniels is a bad coach. I actually think this season was not reflective of our record, okay? There was still a new philosophy and scheme change again. And it's really hard to make the playoffs if you're a first-year head coach. And we went 6-11, and two of those losses were 10 or more points. The rest of those losses were one-possession games. So I don't put the season on him. The whole season. Obviously, he has partial blame here. But a report just came out that him and Ziegler were moving on from Derek the second that they got here. And they gave him a courtesy year. But it's just another instance of people not wanting to accept that Derek Carr's their quarterback. And I understand that Derek's the reason Devontae's here. So you have to give him a courtesy year. But if you're going to move off of him, maybe you should have just done it before the season started. Simple as that. Number five, David Carr. Hey, David, your job is not to back up your brother as much as you should want to do so. Your job is to be an analyst. And I saw the enraged, passionate speech about how the organization is unstable and Derek wants stable. And Derek's the highest rated passer in the history of the Raiders. And he's got Devontae Adams. And he's done all these things for the organization. And you're not wrong. But you know you failed to mention? That he was pretty bad this year with the leading rusher and one of the best receivers to ever play this game. What happened on the Renfro interception against the Steelers? What happened against the Saints? These are things we have to talk about, David. It's your job to be an analyst, and you're putting false narratives into people's heads when you're just blaming everybody but your brother. Obviously, there's more people to blame. I just listed 4 of them before you. But Derek's not excused from any of the blame, which brings me to person number 6. Derek Carr. He hit his ceiling last year. And you can talk about the O-line, and you can talk about injuries, and you can talk about unstable organizational structure, which definitely didn't help. And if he got drafted by the Steelers or the Patriots or the Packers or the Chiefs, he probably would have been a lot better than he was. And he got dealt with a bad hand, and the Ruggs thing happened, and the Gruden thing happened, and the Musgrave thing happened. But Derek, this is the worst year I've ever seen you play since maybe your rookie year. And you're the one who decided to step away from the football team because you didn't want to be a distraction? As much as they owe you the last 2 games, and we understand it's a business, so you can't just throw him out there and hope he doesn't get hurt, you kind of owe it to your teammates to be there to help Jarrett Stidham. And you kind of owe it to us, the people who buy your jerseys and support you, for us to be able to see you. And for our last memory of you not to be a pick you threw on the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, but for you to be on the sidelines cheering on Jarrett Stidham while he's going to work against the 49ers. What a great teammate Derek Carr is. But you didn't want to be a distraction, so you went home and probably talking to your agent about the next team you're going to play for after you said you never play for anybody else. You do you, man, but you didn't want to be a distraction. There's 16 quarterbacks this year that got benched, including Matt Ryan, who beat you in 2016 to be the MVP, and he's sitting right in the sideline. Eli Manning was a 2-time Super Bowl champion, got benched for Geno Smith. There was riots in the streets, and he didn't go home. He sat there with pads on. And you don't want to be a distraction. You are to blame, Derek, for all of this, along with Rodger Goodell and Reggie McKenzie and Mark Davis and David Carr. You are to blame. I have the solution. And Raider fans seem to be up in arms about it. And we'll talk about that in a separate video. But my tease to those people who are upset about what's probably going to happen.
Like it, lump it, make your minds up to it, because he's coming.
Get over yourself and get over it. Because we need a change, and we need that kind of change. And if you think you know what I'm talking about, talk about it in the comments below. Get over it, because he's coming. Anyway, guys, like I said in the beginning of the video, we're trying to hit 5K before May. Catchy, I know. So please do subscribe, hit that like button, comment. It really helps a lot. We're transitioning to all of football, but like I said, we're still going to be talking a lot of Raiders. Don't you worry. Comment below any other topics you'd like to see touched upon. Please be sure to subscribe. It is free after all, no charge to you. And just win, baby. I was thinking, am I going to say just win, baby? Even we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it.